Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we've got whatever update it is on the Tiger tank. It's had a few problems, all of my own making, so I'm looking up there before I move it down onto the bench. You just know that if I move it down here now, something's going to fall on it. There's been a fair bit of progress, mainly in the weathering department. I've had some problems. I can't remember if I said last time. As you know, they've got interleaven. Is it interleaven wheels? Anyway, they've got wheels behind, wheels in front, and the ones behind, I got the wrong way round. So I did all this weathering, all this chipping, and only to have them facing on the inside of the tank that nobody's ever going to see. So I had to redo them. In fact, I cheated, to be honest with you. I just turned them around, stuck them on, and then weathered them in situ, the bits that you could see. Then it came to the tracks. They were an absolute nightmare of my own making, yet again, and I do apologise to my marrow Greg Riley, who sent me these tracks and another set. These were the Lincoln length, first time I'd ever used them. Where I'd gone wrong was I think I'd already put the side skirts and everything on the tank. As we all know, when you look at the instructions on a tank, it'll normally have you put the wheels on more or less in the first couple of stages, and most of us would normally obviously just keep them loose or temporarily fix them somehow. Because obviously you want to get behind those wheels to the lower body and weather that. So when it came to attaching the Lincoln length, although I tried to soften them up already, I mean Greg had actually later on told me, when I said I was having trouble, he said, and I'd shown him a couple of pictures, he said, I'll put some glue on and in a couple of minutes you'll be able to hopefully round the actual drive wheels and sprockets and whatever. I couldn't get them to fit anyway, and I couldn't get them to round off anymore. They're horrible, and not the tracks this time, I mean just how I've done them. It almost wants you to do, if I didn't have so many tanks, I'd say I'd only do wheeled vehicles from now on, military wheeled vehicles, but I'll get there. I will get there. One day I will get the whole setup done properly. I'm looking at it now, so sorry for not looking at the camera. I've put some weathering round. I've put some crudding amongst the links and everything, because the idea is this is going to be on a city type diorama, a Berlin last days type of thing, amongst the rubble. So I couldn't really put a ton of. I have put some weathering splats up the sides and everything like that, but I've not gone over town on over the top even on putting mud on the wheels and that. I have got to put a bit more crud in, but until I actually put it in situ on a base, I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to go with any more effects on the wheels and tracks yet. But I have put crud in amongst the tracks. Yes, it may be also to try and disguise where I've got joins and that. It's not gone well. It is what it is. There is a couple of things I want to do to it anyway, which may actually hide some of the tracks, which I was going to do, which you'll never believe me, but I was going to do. But we'll come to that when I finally get that done. I'm just experimenting at the moment. So join me at the bench. I've got the overhead tripod, so hopefully we're not going to be squeezed up the corner. We might be able to actually see something. And we'll take a look at the progress on the tank so far. Thanks for joining me at the bench, Tubesters. No, we're not looking at 1:72 scale tank. It does look small when you're looking down like this. This is the King Tiger in question. As you can see, I've gone for one of the schemes that they showed on the box art, which was just the green with like green circles, but they weren't green circles, and they'd almost see, you could see almost where they joined the brush marks up, and that's what I've tried to do on this as well. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any more light on the subject. Let me just get my lamps a bit closer without demolishing everything on there. Right. I've done a fair bit of work to it. Let's just see if we can get in any bit closer. It's scary now when you start seeing them this close, because you can see all the problems, not problems, all the mistakes I've made. And now I'm trying to quickly get a pointy stick. Right. We've got some overhead shell bursts, bomb damage. They were literally throwing everything at Berlin towards the end. Well, throughout most of the war, but this could, I'm saying Berlin, it could be any built-up German town or city really, but obviously we've all seen photographs, and a lot of the photographs I've been using just for inspiration really come from the Berlin Tigers that are photographed. So we've got some. This is the type of chipping I've tried to do all the way around. So that's not rust, it's supposed to be the primer coat underneath. And I'm just thinking, well, it's fresh chips and chips that have either gone completely off the primers. The primer's still here in smaller pieces. Let me just see if we can get the cupola in shot. I've gone round with those AK weathering pencils on there. I mean, you could just as you use a normal couple of pencils, to be honest with you. But what I did like about it's like a watercolour waxy effect rather than a normal pencil, is you probably haven't got the graphite powdering off, if that makes sense. And I've gone round it as well. That's dark aluminium, I believe, and normal aluminium. And I've gone round just to give a metallised shine to these type of areas. Again, we've got more chipping inside and out. I haven't done the vision blocks, any paintings, inside those yet. That's something that's got to be done. I didn't want to go to a huge amount on the rear area, but obviously it's still got to be in situ. So I've put some light paint scratches, again, where all the debris is bouncing off it. We've got bricks bouncing off it, concrete bouncing off it. There's lots of, as I think I've said before, how accurate I don't know, but I've got, like on the back of the cupola there, we've got a small caliber type of anti-tank round of some descriptions, taking a chunk out there. Let's see if we can pull her up without getting all into a right mess. We've got two more caliber hits, tank size one there, I believe. Again, all that isn't rust, it's the actual, supposedly looking at the primer underneath. The welds that they've done, which were quite good actually, I've just put some washes in there, oil washes, and then, or aluminium enamel washes. I can't remember which I use now, to be honest with you. I've hit this with just about everything. And then once I'd done that, I'd put those watercolour pencils again, those AK weathering with the aluminium to give it some bright steel and some duller steel in the welds as well. Which have just fallen off. The tracks are on the actual turret itself. They're still a work in progress. I didn't want to go over top, because the way I saw it, this hasn't been out of the factory that long. That hasn't had any metallised stuff put on it yet. That's just grey paint. I've still got some gloss varnish over the top of the two decals that I've got. I've had to put them there and not slightly low, because those footholds that they use to get up onto the turret are right in the way. Again, we've got another caliber hit there. Some of this is going to be, if it depends, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, what I plan to do with it is, let's just go out a bit slightly. What I plan, what I've seen some of the Berlin Tigers, they were using, it appears to be on the colorized photographs, and yeah, they're colorized, I know, but they appear to be, to me, blackout material that they've nicked out of bombed out buildings, and they were covering some of the tank up in places, down hanging over the wheels and that, with this blackout material, quite big stretches of it in places. Now, Greg Riley had put me on to using the glass cleaner. In fact, he sent some up with me to me, but I've also got my own glass cleaner, and he says, you know, obviously when it's dry, I put some PVA and some grey paint in, or some dark German grey paint in it to start with. Now the problem was I didn't want to slap it on my tank because I've done so much work to it. I didn't want PVA running everywhere, but at the same time it needs to conform to the tank. So I'm wondering now if Common Garden kitchen foil, yes, it's very thin, but it's also, you can get it malleable, move it into places. So that was the idea, that I'd have the ones I'd seen. I've had some in rags hanging down this forward part of the turret. Some of the others were they had some long pieces almost running the length of the wheels, which would be good for hiding my cruddy tracks. So yeah, that's the idea, was to put some of that in. It still might happen. I haven't tried the silver foil yet, and I would have to probably end up painting it in situ to make it look right. And that has its problems, because obviously I'm coating me. I know I'm going to get overspill paint, so I'm not sure yet. If I can't get the silver foil in its raw state to look right, I won't use it, and this tank will be how you see it, and it'll just be in amongst a bit of rubble on a little base I'm going to build for it. So if I was to use that type of thing again, I would have put the material on the plastic before it's primered and anything. You know what I mean? So it's in situ, it's all done, glued down, and it's just part of the model. I didn't do that, and yet that was in my head for doing it from the start once I'd seen these pictures, but I didn't do it, and you know, it is what it is now. So, but that's the idea. That's where I'm saying I might be able to cheat with my rotten tracks by covering it up slightly. I've got to put some more. Let's just have a go down again, because it looks like a tiny tank from where it is. Down here I've just got to put some more oil wash or enamel wash, just to blacken it up a bit, really. Let's see if we can get her up. Or have I gone in? No, I might have gone in a bit too close. Hang on. Not the greatest way to show models, is it really? Oh, there are some real good professionals out there, but I'm not one of them. Not when it comes to building models or filming them. Another decent calibre hit there. And again, some more chips around the machine gun cupola. Or bow machine gun, whatever you call it. Another hit there. I might have overdone it on the hits, but what I wanted, the story I'm trying to tell is, obviously this is in the last desperate days. The tank's buttoned up, because although I said to you before, there's a really nice detailed breech, there's no way to put figures. There was no way, and then if you did put the figures in the loaders stroke gunner's hatch and the commander's hatch, you might as well, and the driver, and anyway, anywhere there was a hatch that was open, you'd have just been looking at blackness, like so many of these have. So I've buttoned it up as if the rounds are zinging in left, right and centre. I don't know if you can see, I'll just do one last, well, I'm going to do the back as well, I suppose, but I've done the flicking the paint up. Now I've got a couple of Vallejo splatter mud, a light brown, which went on fine, and I'd got this grey which they called Urban, which I thought, oh, that's good as well for what I want. Oh, that stuff, for me, I can't get it to work. It's just like mucus. It was horrible. So I've then gone back to just flicking just normal Vallejo paint, which I used some US Field Drab or Khaki Brown, something like that, I can't remember, and some bronze green. And that's really, for me, it's really worked well on on the tank. Just gives it all. I've done it obviously lighter on the turret where it's not got so far, but the bronze green has helped with, like, it almost looks like rain marks and things, you know, and then you put it together with all the smoke and the detritus that's flying around in the city. Sorry, I've got an 88mm gun here that keeps wanting to bang on the desk. Again, not a great deal on the back. I didn't want to show it overly. I know I have done a fair amount of chips, but that's because there's a 1,000 bits of shrapnel flying around. But I didn't want it to look like with the exhausts looking over rusted up and that, because this hasn't been. It's literally, you know, trundled off the factory and straight into combat. Really, that's my idea. I haven't put a lot of soot on the exhaust because it is a petrol engine, so it wouldn't have a lot of soot. You know, right? It might not be particularly well looked after, but again, it's not done a lot. So I tried to also put some scratches on one of the decals, you know, as in paint scratches on top, just to again blend it in slightly. They will be flattened out with some varnish. So yeah, that's my. Oh, let's get into some type of view. That's my King Tiger. There might be other little bits and pieces done to it apart from the bits of blackout material if it works. If it doesn't, as I say, I've got the vision ports to paint some dark blacky blue or blacky green, something like that. You ain't going to see them really. Yeah, the original tracks were a nightmare. Now again, it just could be I don't know what I'm doing, which is often the case. These link and length that Greg gave me, it's just been my stuff up, and I think if I'd have done them originally with the side skirts off, if I'd had these side skirts off, I could have linked and lengthed them and left a gap enough to, you know, take off, but I didn't, so I'm paying the price. So guys, next time hopefully you see this old girl. She shall be sitting on some form of base. I'd probably do a video where I'm showing the base, but obviously not completely finished, but you know, at least you're getting the idea of what I'm going to be actually building for it. I've got a couple of figures as well which I need to do a small unboxing for. Only 2 figures, just to add a bit of interest to the base as well. So I will catch you very soon on the next update of this Tiger build. I hope everything's going well with you guys. It's a bit late to say Merry Christmas. I had planned to do a Christmas video, but as there's a guy on a running machine next door, which is the thump 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 you can hear. I've got my wife in, obviously on holiday as well. There's nothing else that she can do. So she's out with my dog at the moment, my pop. So she's I've got the house to actually make a video. What I'm trying to say is there's too much background noise for me to be doing my usual flow of videos, and I have got a backlog of videos to show you. So there'll be hopefully 2 of these going up today, and they'll be hopefully in a rapid succession. You might get another couple as well. I know you can't wait. Take care of yourselves, guys. Keep modelling, keep painting your figures. We will see the end of this this nightmare at some stage, if not this year coming, maybe 2022. Yes, I'm a pessimist. But as you hear so many people saying, modellers and figure painters have been prepping themselves for this eventuality for years. So keep riding it out, guys, and we will see the other side. Look after yourselves.